Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Then there's the fact that the dibur itself is a ma'aseh. Not the fact that the dibur is commanding a ma'aseh, but the fact that the dibur itself is a ma'aseh that he does with his mouth. נקרא עשייה בדיבור גם כן, העניין הוא מה שנצח הדיבור לא ולידי פועל ממש שהפה גוימר. לפי שיש דיבור שאינו למעשה עדיין. חולו. I don't know exactly what he means by this. I think he means that there could be a dibur that's not talking about, that there's no inyan of ma'aseh in the dibur. He's not telling anybody to do anything. Like he's thinking of some philosophical thing. You know, like, was tut mir in Atzilus. There's no ma'aseh there. Even though you could say, well, it is a ma'aseh. He wants to know what they're doing in Atzilus. What's the ma'aseh? But that's not really a ma'aseh. So what's the ma'aseh shebedibur there? So it says, even there, where there's no ma'aseh in the dibur, the fact that he's moving his lips, that's the ma'aseh. That's also a ma'aseh. What does he say? He said there should be light in actuality. ובחינת המעשה שניפעל מזה הדיבור. כמו שנאמר, and then there's the actual מעשה that came out of this דיבור, כמו שנאמר, ויהי אור. וכאי גבנה, כדבר המלך שנעשה מזה הפועל ממש. In other words, the actual poil that came out of the gzera of the king, that the king said something. Like Achashverosh said, okay, we're going to make a party. And there was a party. They made a party. And that's the ma'aseh that came out of his dibur. And that's what they say, that like for instance, in the Megillah, that's what they say. They say that King Achashverosh made a party. Now, when did he make a party? He didn't make nothing. What do you think, that King Achashverosh went and he cleaned up the whole place with a mop, and then got all the food ready and all the drinks ready and everything? Nothing. He didn't do nothing. He sat on the throne and said, make a party. And we say that King Achashverosh made a party. So how did he make a party? So where was the ma'aseh? What did he do? So we said he made a party.
Right.
So the thing that he did is he said it. And from that came the actual ma'aseh. And you see that there was really a party. Not only that, it was some party, and if somebody else couldn't have made a party like that, even if he would work real hard. And King Achashverosh, says he was the king, by just saying, I want a party. So the same thing like by the Eibishter. The Eibishter said, Yehi by Yehi. Kidvar Melech, Nasim Zapel Mamish, who Inyan Malchus the Malchus Atzilus. And that, the thing of the actual thing that came out of it, not the thing that he spoke and said what to do. Yehi or. That's Malchus. But the thing that it actually by Yehi or, and there was a light. They made a party. That's called Malchus Sheba Malchus. That's only when it comes out in a way of bringing an actual something out of nothing. This will be explained later. And this also is really still an Atzilus. It's really, there's an Inyan of Malchus of Malchus. Before it goes through, the Malchus of Malchus doesn't mean that it's after it went through the Masach. There's a Malchus of Malchus before the Masach that will be Bokeh the Masa. Al derech Marshal Koyach HaPula Nivdeles Mikoyach HaPoyel. וגם שכוח הפועל פינס כוח המייסה הוא, אבל מה שיוצא מכוחו בניפול פינס מלכוס ומלכוס הוא כמו שבוע במוקם אחר. They say, how does this apply to the word of the king? You just said that the malchus of malchus was the fact that they actually made a party. And over here he's saying that the thing that's by he oyer, malchus of malchus, is the fact that it was actually came and was a light, or a rakia. And then he said, no, but really it's before it's B'Keh B'Riah. So what does it mean that malchus, so how is it malchus of malchus if it's still before it went out? In other words, it's right. Really still part of the speech of the king himself, before it's B'Keh Masa. In other words, there's a malchus of malchus before the B'Keh Masa, and a malchus of malchus after the B'Keh Masa. So the thing of the malchus before the B'Keh Masa is the power of the thing which will go into the nifal. In other words, the power that was in Ahasuerus' speech to make a party like that. In other words, in his speech there was this power of the malchus because he was the king. Now, for instance, me, if I would say, hey, let's make a party. We'll make a party, and I want the whole world to come to my party. Everybody come to Pittsburgh, and I'm going to make a party, and I expect everybody to be in my party. It doesn't mean nothing. There's no malchus of malchus because there's no power to do this.
Right.
You know. But, I mean, there's certain things that I do have a power to do. In my speech, in other words, so that's the thing of the malchus of malchus. In other words, the thing in Yehi Or by Yehi Or is that the by Yehi Or is already there before the actual by Yehi Or. In other words, the minute that Achashverosh said to make a party, that was the beginning of the party.
Right.
Of the actual party. Because Achashverosh gave the command. Like in Congress, when they pass a law. So the minute they pass a law, like let's say it was a king instead of Congress, and he said, okay, from now on, everybody's going to drive on the left side of the street. So the B'Kiyas HaMasach is that now everybody's going to have to run around in his whole country and change all the street signs and change everything around. But the law, the minute he said it, that was the malchus of the malchus already, to go out. That was the thing that's going to go out already. So that's the thing of the malchus, how it's still part of the malchus itself, before it separates out to its own thing. And then it separates out to its own thing, that it goes out to do the thing, is Varmel Shilton, to do the thing that he said to do.
Right.
So the same thing by the Eibishter. The minute that he said, Yehi Or, even before the B'Kiyas HaMasach. And remember, this is happening right now. It's not the same thing. In other words, if the Maimer Yehi Or would stop, the fabric of the universe would disappear.
Right.
Because it would be, like what the scientists say, that the matter is made out of energy and all that business.
Right.
And that's why the first thing you have to say is Yehi Or. It says Yehi Or by Yehi Or. This thing that he's saying, Yehi Or, that is actually what's making it that there is this Or that's mitztamtzim through the walls of Biyah until it comes and is you know, the Hisavus Or that makes the Kalim in our world until all the way to Hisavus Or, like they tell you, you know, that all this stuff that you see in front of you is coming from Hisavus Or.
Right.
You know, like there's atoms and electrons and protons and whatever, and now they have strings and whatever they want to say. And all of these things are basically concentrations of lights within vessels.
Right.
And then you say, what do you mean? And what are the vessels made out of? You say, well, the vessels are also made out of energy.
Right.
So this whole thing is depends on the Maimer Yehi Or, that there should be this energy to fuel this whole thing. And this is really happens before the Bria in Atzilus. The 10 Maimaras, they really happen in Atzilus. In other words, the king himself is saying them. And it's the fact that he is saying them that makes them happen.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, his power is not like a Hashverosh's power. That you see Saddam's power, you know, now Saddam can say whatever he wants. Nobody's listening to him.
Right.
You know, and it really comes from the fact that, like, they were scared of him or something like that, you know.
Right.
Or like Bush, it comes from the fact that they accepted him, they voted for him, whatever. But the Eibishter he comes from himself.
Right.
So therefore his power also comes from himself. So the very fact that he said it, that's what actually brings it into being. And the thing is that it's not like he said it before. That's the thing, you know, what the Baal Shem Tov said, Lo Ilam Hashem Dvar Chanitza B'Shamayim.
Right.
That the Maimer Yehi Oyer and all the 10 Maimaris, if they would stop saying, like if the Eibusher would stop saying that there should be plants, all the plants would disappear.
Right.
You know. And if he would stop saying that the waters should go out from the earth and the earth should come up, it will go back to being like an eagle inside of an eagle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That the eagle of the earth was inside of the eagle of the water. And then the Eibusher said to take the water off of the earth and show some dry land.
Right.
Otherwise, it'll be an eagle inside of an eagle. The same thing, like you see that the eagle of the air is surrounding us.
Right.
You know. So those Maimaris, it's not like, you know, when we say before and after, like he said, and now it's like this. It's not really. It's not a before and after in terms of time. It's happening mamish right now. So. Again, I mean, it's kind of hard to differentiate. There's a koyach ha'pa'ula, and nivdela is koyach ha'poyel. The gam shekoyach ha'poyel, pinas koyach ha'maisehu, it's also maise, and that's in your malchus, really. Our ma sheyetze mikoyach ha'banipol, pinas malchus the malchusu. This, in other words, there's a thing that goes out of it into the nifal. Like you see that there was a koyach hapoyel, but there was also a thing that went out into the nifal. In other words, there's a koyach in the nifal that you see that an actual party came into being.
Right.
So that at some point it had to separate itself out into a koyach of the actual pa'ula itself. And that's what he's talking about, the difference between malchus and malchus and malchus. The koyach HaMalchus really does not go through. It's not the Kedamasa. It stays with the king. In other words, the fact that he said it and the fact that he's the king and he has the power of the king, that stays with him.
Right.
But you see that something went out from him. So it went out already, it separated into Malchus of Malchus, when it was still inside of Malchus of Atzilus. When he was saying it. When he was saying it already, the fact that he said it already made it the beginning of the happening, which the happening is the Pa'ula.
Right.
So the minute he said it, that's the beginning of the Pa'ula. The same thing like we said, at the minute that, like the minute the judge decrees, that's the beginning of the sentence. That's it.
Right.
In other words, the fact that later on they're going to take this guy and lock him up, it didn't happen right there. Didn't happen right there. He's not locked up yet.
Right.
Or they're going to give him 40 lashes or something like that. They didn't give him 40 lashes, but he's already crying like, what are you crying about? Nothing happened. So what are you talking about? He said the thing. He said it already. It means it did happen.
Right.
It's already in the way of a pa'ula. So that's the thing of already Malchus of Malchus. And that's the end of chapter
49.
Huh?
Memches, sir.
Memches. Memches, right. And we have basically 5 more chapters. So by next week, sometime, either this week or next week, we'll be...
Make us see you.